Hello, Craig.
Hello, Colin.
We are again, Craig, continuing our Star Trek TOS movie talk. We are finally up to Star Trek V, The Final Frontier. Now, this movie is infamous in all of Star Trek lore because people claim that it is the worst Star Trek movie. And I have not seen this movie since probably 2017, which is when I watched all of the TOS movies for the first time. And Craig, what did you think before I tell you what I think? What did you think of this movie?
So before I saw it the first time, I remember hearing all the negative criticism of like, oh, it's the worst one, it's awful. But after I watched it, I remember thinking I didn't hate it. I actually think it's okay. Obviously, it's not perfect. It's got its issues. That's still well known, but there are still aspects of it that I like, and especially when you compare it to more recent Star Trek, not just movies, but adaptations like
Hmm.
Discovery, Picard,
Starfleet Academy.
Yes, you realize
Section 31.
yeah, you can go on forever. Not that makes this better, but I feel people will look back and realize maybe things weren't so bad.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised by the hate it got. Now, it's not great or good. I think I would put it on par with the first one, kind of, and even the third one a little bit. I'd put it in that kind of category. But I think
So the odd number ones.
well, I mean, I guess unintentionally. I guess it is true for the TOS original movies that the odd ones are not good. But this one is kind of odd because I think its biggest sin it commits is that tone-wise, it's all over the place, and that can really kill some of the tension. And also, the ending is a little, And there really, again, like Star Trek: The Motion Picture, there really isn't a villain.
I guess Cybok is the villain, but he doesn't
Not
really act like
really.
a traditional villain. Well, I'm saying story-wise,
Yeah,
he's
yeah. But even story wise, yes, he commandeers the Enterprise, but he doesn't kill anybody, and he sort of just takes everybody and then just says, we're going here. Kind of takes them hostage a little bit.
when he eases their pain by going through their bad memories, but as someone went through my bad memories and helped me, I still wouldn't help them steal my ship. So it's like some brainwashing.
Yeah, and obviously I think what a lot of people say that is good about the movie is the trifecta. They are great in this and they are given all the attention. Just like a TOS episode, you have Sulu, Uhura, Chekhov, I don't really care for them. They're there, they're present.
But still, they give them some moments to shine with Chekhov commanding the ship. You got Uhura's little silly dance.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But still, these characters have more to do than maybe a traditional episode or even some of the movies.
Yes.
I think as we got further on, they gave them more to do, but
But I would say this feels like a step back for the other cast because they were more involved in Star Trek 4. But in this one, it's really just Kirk, Spock, and Bones running the show.
yeah, but it is like a original TOS episode in the way where it's those three running the show and you've got the one villain of the episode.
Well, this one, do people say that this one also feels like a TOS episode? Because I think so far, besides maybe the first one, this one is a close second to feeling like a TOS episode.
If we both thought it's someone else out there had to have said
Yes.
the same thing.
Sure, I don't doubt that. But I don't see that in the discourse for the movie. Everyone always just says how horrible it is. And again, I didn't think it was terrible. I thought it was okay.
That's kind of how I describe it too, because there are good moments. Obviously, the trifecta, some of the scenes with the trifecta.
Damn it, Spock. God damn it.
But then you've got the stuff with Cybok and going to the center of the universe.
Yeah.
So that's why I can't really hate it. I really like the good stuff in it, but I also really don't like the bad stuff.
And I
so you
think
get this really uneven.
yeah, at face value, the core idea isn't bad. It's just the execution and maybe this, I don't know the behind the scenes issues too much, but I do know a lot of people also lampoon the terrible special effects. And it is more noticeable. And I read that ILM, who has handled the effects for the other previous movies, did not come back for this. And it does show. Some of it looks pretty bad, especially the ending with what does God need a starship for?
What does God need with a starship?
That all looked pretty bad, especially for 1989. It's not the Star Trek II, 1982. It is 1989.
Well, I know behind the scenes stuff, there was a writer's strike, and I know they slashed the budget, so they really made it more difficult for Shatner in the production.
Yes, this is the only one he directed, and it seemed like he was just dealt a bad hand from the start. Yeah, a Writers Guild recycled, cut into the film's pre-production. So yeah.
But what I find so funny is that Shatner's known for having a bit of an ego, but even with that ego, he still managed to put the focus on the main three characters and didn't make Kirk hog up all the screen time, all the dialogue. He gave pretty good time to Spock and Bones as well.
I
Even
did
other
see
characters too,
also.
he didn't leave them out.
I saw, Craig, that it said George Takei, who obviously, as everyone knows, and we talked about it, where he does not like Shatner at all.
It's one-sided beef.
Yeah, he said, and I quote, "Despite our sometimes strained personal history, I found working with Bill as a director to be surprisingly pleasant." Takei gave him props for at least handling the pressure that Shatner was facing, because not only was he the star, he was a director, and then he was dealing with a slash budget, probably terrible production restraints. And
There was a writer's strike, granted. I don't know, I think with 1989 writer's strike, I know nothing about that. It's before my time. But still, dealing with all that nonsense must have been very, very stressful and difficult.
Yes.
But I do want to mention that I know this has nothing to do with the movie, but
Oh.
we often talk about how, again, Captain Kirk or William Shatner has the ego, but I still feel like he does care about Star Trek and understands the character. Because
Yeah,
I
he
know we
does.
talked about
We
Picard.
talked about that in Star Trek too.
Patrick Stewart does not understand Picard at all. He thinks of himself more as an action hero.
Yes.
When Picard's quite the opposite, he's not supposed to be the action hero. It's just
Yeah.
funny how the supposedly egotistical actor understands his character better than the supposed non-egotistical actor. Granted, they're all egotistical, but
Right, we talked about that, and essentially where we're coming from, not even what we're coming from, but we observed is that for Star Trek First Contact, he himself, and this is verifiable, this is true, because I looked it up, he went to Paramount and pushed for more action scenes for him to do, because I guess he got tired of the reserved diplomatic approach that is Picard. And then before anyone says anything, the reason why we say he doesn't understand the character is because he fundamentally does not understand why people like TNG Picard. They like his restrained diplomatic approach where he drinks his Earl Grey tea, always quotes Shakespeare, very intelligent man. People like that approach because he's different than Captain Kirk. Nobody wants him to be screaming and running around and mercy killing officers on his own ship.
No!
And riding dune buggies.
No! No!
Well, I even mentioned the Picard show too because he had a lot more input into that show, and I was actually rewatching a video, and they're talking about how he really pushed for a love interest for the second season just because.
Oh boy, was it Dr. Crusher?
No, the second season of the Picard show. It was
Yeah,
some
so I'm asking,
Romulan.
Is that
I
the
don't
love
know,
interest?
No, some random. Who cares?
Oh, okay.
It was a nobody, but he was really happy to have a love interest who was like half his age. So.
Well, I think that's like real life for him. So, but enough about Picard, Craig. What else do you have for me for Star Trek V?
Well, again, we mentioned the good is the trifecta. I love the opening where just those three just
The opening
going
and
camping.
ending with the three of them too, not the God thing.
I just like the beginning. It's them just hanging around. Of course, they're in character. Bones is the nervous wreck. Kirk is being adventurous, and Spock's just observing everything, not really taking any action with his hover boots, which I'm surprised have never really appeared in before or after that moment in Star Trek. It'd be pretty useful to have those hover boots.
Yeah, really.
But it's just fun seeing them, and they're in the campfire singing Camptown Ladies, just them goofing off. Like, you love to see, if you're a fan of Star Trek, you're probably a fan of these three characters. You love just seeing them be friends, not just always being a life-threatening situation on the Enterprise.
And then there's that genuine admiration for one another that they have.
Even the
It's
little
great.
bickering where Bones says, I liked you before you died.
Yeah.
God, I liked him better before he died. All right.
And those scenes with the trifecta is essentially what the movie's trying to say is that we don't need higher beings to sort of interfere and save people. We just need each other. And that was the whole point where Kirk said that he thinks he'll die alone, but he always had his friends with him, so that's how he knows he won't ever die. It's not an incompetent script as its Rotten Tomatoes score would suggest, because I think it has a 22%. So when you see that 22%, your brain thinks, oh my god, that is bottom of the barrel. But it's really not that terrible. There's some good moments in it. It's just a very uneven movie.
So yeah, we see those characters interacting. We see even Chekhov and Sulu going on a little hike, getting lost, having fun. Uhura and Scotty's grumbling because the Enterprise isn't working. It's funny, they gave him the new ship in the fourth one, and now it's not working.
Yeah, right? It's brand new. I didn't like that they just kind of made Scotty get incapacitated. I know it's for comedic senses, but it doesn't work in that situation.
Also,
Scotty
someone
isn't
who's-
a bumbling idiot.
That and bumping your head is not going to knock you out. I think most people have bumped their head at at some point on metal or a piece of wood, you don't really knock yourself out.
Yeah.
Especially if you're at walking speed, walking into it, it's not going to kill you or knock you out.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if people really like the fact that Spock had a secret half brother.
Well, here's the thing with that before you continue. If people don't like that, then they should not like Star Trek Discovery. So I guess pick your poison, whether Spock should have a half brother or not.
Well, this case it's different. He was seen as a revolutionary, and they kicked him off the planet and didn't want to talk about him.
Yes,
So
that makes more sense.
Yeah, the context was better. Michael Burnham, I'm trying to remember her name.
I have no
Yeah,
idea.
yeah, it was Michael Burnham, the secret half sister who was actually better at Spock at everything and taught him everything that he knows. Is a little different. And why was she in any episode? Why was she never mentioned? She was so important versus a guy who was so terrible they don't want to mention him on purpose. Context matters.
Not to Alex Kurtzman.
I think logic or reasoning matters to Kurtzman.
How'd you feel about the Klingons in this movie?
I don't have a high opinion of the Klingons.
Oh.
They're probably my least favorite major alien faction. I know that might be seen as heresy, but I just think the Klingons are boring. But I thought they were fine overall.
Okay. Yeah, I thought they were fine too. Maybe a little bit cartoonish, maybe, but not offensive. They weren't parodies of each other.
But that's how they are, though. They are pretty brutish and stupid.
Yeah, I guess so. Except Lieutenant Worf.
Yeah, I know you're going through TNG, and you realize
Season 3.
See, my favorite alien major faction is probably the Romulans, with the second being the Cardassians, which I don't know if they've appeared yet when you've watched TNG.
I'm only on I'm only on episode, I don't know, I finished episode 4, maybe episode 3, I don't remember off the top of my head.
I just think those factions, they're not just dumb brutes. They're smart. They're conniving.
Yeah, I
You gotta
finished
always watch your back around
episode
them.
4.
The Klingon are just, we're warriors. We're going to kill you. Arrgh. It's not really interesting. They were more interesting in TOS than they were in TNG and beyond.
No, the Klingons?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
It's probably, I don't know if that's a hot take. I know Klingons are synonymous with Star Trek.
So where'd you put the Borgs then? Do you like the Borg?
I like the Borg too. I think they're more interesting than the Klingons. This evil hive mind of cyborgs that are put you into the hive mind.
They
constantly
assimilate you.
conquer.
Assimilate this.
Assimilate this.
And they can't be beaten by traditional means. You can't reason with them. Was
Well,
a
I
line in
remember
Terminator.
in Star Trek First Contact, if you beat them one way once, they all kind of uplink that way of defeat, and then you can't defeat them the same way again, right?
Yeah, they learn and they
That's
adapt
cool.
constantly.
That's cool.
A very existential threat, and Klingons are just space warriors.
Essentially, space warriors that can cloak their ship.
Except I think there was a TNG episode where there was a Klingon engineer, and she was talking about like all the backlash she faced for wanting to go into the sciences instead of being a warrior. And you start to wonder, how are they in space if they hate their scientists so much?
That's a good question.
That's kind of when
Almost as good as the
stopped
question
watching
of what does God need a starship for?
What does God need with a starship?
How did you feel about that whole ending?
I didn't really think the storyline was all that interesting, so the fact that it was a wet fart didn't really change much either for me. Going to the center of the universe to find God, I don't really think is interesting. Because there's no real setup. He's trying to explain it as we're trying to seek ultimate knowledge. So let's go to the center of the universe where we're going to find ultimate knowledge. I guess it's a common trope where people
Right.
think these artifacts or locations will give them ultimate knowledge. So I was thinking of The Last Crusade where they want to get the Holy Grail. It's going to give them all this stuff. Or the Ark too. Like, oh, it's going to talk to God. He said it's radio to God. And
You
just
want to
kills them all.
talk to God? Remember that part? Let's
Yeah.
see him together. Because I've seen some critiques for Shatner's directing where I believe he had a mostly theater background of directing beforehand. So that would explain some kind of flat staging and even lingering on comedic beats too long. That's very theater-like. You could usually tell if someone's more of a theater director and someone's more attuned to TV and movies. Because it wasn't like Shatner was some schmuck that they just hired because he was a big name. He did have experience directing beforehand. So, I don't know, he did an okay job. It's just that, yeah, some of it isn't staged too well. He allowed some scenes to kind of drag.
But I wonder if they had a better script that probably could have mitigated maybe not all those issues, but maybe scenes wouldn't drag if they had a better story.
Yes, the strike definitely prevented some well-needed kind of touch-ups for the script. I mean, I have not seen Nemesis, so I don't know if this is... I'm assuming Nemesis is worse than this, right? Is that fair to assume?
It's been a while since I've seen Nemesis. That's something I didn't hate as much as... I remember Generations being really bad.
I've only seen that one once also. The only Star Trek movies prior to our rewatch, the only ones that I've seen multiple times was 2, 6, First Contact, and then obviously the Kelvin timeline. Those are the only ones I've seen multiple times.
Well, the only ones I have not seen multiple times were Generations,
Insurrection,
Nemesis, and
Oh.
Insurrection.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, First Contact was good, and I've seen enough of the TNG ones where, obviously for this review, and with the exception of the first one, I don't mind rewatching other ones as much.
Right. These
Of
they're
course.
more exciting-ish.
Yeah.
I didn't hate the first one. I thought the first one was good.
I just think it's boring.
Oh no, like these two feel the most like a Star Trek TOS episode, and I like that. I appreciate that. Not saying that the deviation to more general audience is a bad thing, because it obviously works for Star Trek 2, Star Trek 4 to some degree, and especially Star Trek 6. Yeah, this movie just needs more refining. Not a terrible concept on paper, but just so execution.
I think the story was still never going to work, even if it got another rewrite, another look at. Going to the center of the universe to find God, I
Yeah,
can't imagine
I
that's a
guess.
real interesting story. It's going to give any sort of
Well,
meaning to
when
the
I say
resolution.
story, I guess what I mean is also just with
The journey there.
Not even the journey there, but I don't know. Like I said earlier, I like the scenes with the trifecta that help accentuate the theme of saying that we don't need somebody above us, right, to save us. We just need each other. And that as a theme isn't bad. Again, yeah, the execution and the ending especially is just such a flat line.
They could definitely beef up everything up until the third act, but the third act I don't think would ever be satisfying. Because
That
what
is
are they
true,
really going
yeah,
to say?
probably.
Okay, God, this isn't God at the center of the universe, surprise, surprise, or it is God, and I don't know, he was trapped somehow.
Yeah, I guess that's true. The story was set up to fail from the start.
Because of course it was going to be a scam. I mean, I don't think anybody. I know he was somehow pulling people into his cult of therapy.
I think also he influenced people too easily, Cybok.
Well, like I made that joke in the beginning. If someone were to help me, I don't think I would immediately start helping them
Yeah.
mutiny and take over my ship and try to get us killed. Like, yeah, thank you, but I'm not going to help you commit all these crimes. Like someone lends you $1 once and they say, well, now you've got to be my getaway driver.
Now, I don't remember if it's probably this movie, right? I think Bill Shatner wanted Captain Kirk to fight a rock monster, but that idea was scrapped probably because of budget reasons. Is that true, or is that just a myth?
I've never heard of that.
Okay, maybe I'm just lying.
Good, keep lying. Just make our audience misinformed.
Oh, I don't want to do that.
Well, I know this is definitely getting the people praise is when Cyback is going through Bones' emotions
Mm-hmm.
and the scene with his father, because a lot of these characters don't really go too much into their past. And I get it, it's not that important in Star Trek. They're doing a job, they're professional, their childhood trauma isn't as important, but
Mhm.
it's nice to see more about our favorite characters than just what we see in the show, like actually going into their past.
Yeah, it's a
Especially
yeah.
for Bones too, just seeing his father die, then a week later, oh, hey, conveniently we found the cure, isn't that
Yeah.
great?
It's a good thing we didn't see Captain Kirk's most traumatic moment where, was it in Iowa? There's just a massacre where him and 2 other people survived, right? But that was in TOS. That was pretty shocking.
That wasn't Iowa. That was
Where was he? He's
that was
from
a different
Iowa.
planet.
Oh, well,
Yeah,
he's
but that was
from
a different
Iowa.
planet.
Okay.
The butcher of I forget the name.
Yeah, wherever he was.
Odos.
Him and was it his not stepbrother, his brother-in-law, or was it his brother? Because the whole point of that episode was that somebody, another survivor, or somebody who instigated, I can't remember off the top of my head, they were killing the survivors of that event, and I think they killed Captain Kirk's brother in that episode.
Didn't you have another brother that died in a different episode?
Yeah, I think one died with his family or something.
Yeah, it was those flying bats that look like little pieces of pasta.
Yeah.
Point is, I don't think that really was they were on top of the lore of the series as much in the beginning as they are now. I think Kirk had 2, maybe you're saying 2 brothers. I only remember the one brother with the pasta bats.
Yeah, maybe it was just a friend then, because I remember that was the whole plot of the episode where the survivors of that traumatic thing that Kirk survived when he was younger, the survivors were getting hunted down.
And I like the ending where not the ending, but when he confronts Kodos, he goes, you're the butcher, you're Kodos, you're the butcher. He goes, well, if you think I am, I must be. Like, we were weaselly words that I wanted to like smack. I'm like, just admit it.
Classic TOS is so great. I have to after TNG, I'm gonna have to rewatch it because I remember plot points and I remember things that happened, but I can't remember the details of what happened.
Yeah, I mean, how many episodes? Each episode's
60,
like 45
yeah.
minutes. You should watch Deep Space Nine.
I'm
Because of our discussions,
I'm getting through TNG.
because of our discussions, I've started my rewatch of Deep Space Nine again.
You should rewatch rewatch TOS afterwards.
God, that's too much to rewatch. That's what we're reduced to, rewatching old Star Trek or old TV shows because nothing good comes out anymore.
Yeah.
But like I said, the scene with Bones and his father was good. Even seeing a little bit of Spock, how his family, he's half human, so that definitely affected him growing up. We know during, I think, TOS, they brought up how he was treated differently.
Yeah, because he's a half human, half Vulcan.
Which I know it's not really anything new into his character, but it just kind of reaffirms. It's always gnawing at him.
I think also it isn't lore breaking that Sybok is Spock's half brother, but it probably would have been suited better if Sybok was a higher up in the Vulcan, whatever they call him. Let's call him the Vulcan cult.
Maybe it was his uncle. I think that would work better. He could still be a relative, but
not his half
not his brother.
That just comes out of nowhere. Because I know they want that familial connection, but it just really doesn't work.
I don't really like long lost siblings. I don't think anybody does. I don't know why this is a common trope in media. I mean, does anybody like having secret long lost siblings that you didn't know about until right now?
Yeah.
I think his uncle could have been a better relation. I guess it could be the contrast to his dad's the ultimate Vulcan, the ultimate diplomat. Then you've got the revolutionary. Let's not abandon our emotions.
Yeah.
Also, is it really a good idea to have a Vulcan? I mean, I guess they're known for being all logical, but Romulans are the same thing as Vulcans, and they do feel emotion. So it's not like having emotion is that much of heresy.
I guess to Vulcans it is, Craig.
It's a Vulcans, sure, but Romulans they're not entirely a different race. They splintered off from each other, and they do feel emotion. So it's not uncommon or that out of the question for them to be emotional.
You're asking the wrong guy.
I'm probably thinking too much into it. I know. As we talk, I keep thinking about these things. I know we've made jokes about Kirk confronting God, and that's definitely one of the highlights of the movie for me. Just having Kirk go,
excuse me.
Excuse me. What does God need with a starship?
I'm just asking a question.
Jim, what are you doing? I'm asking you a question.
I like when he said Spock at the end. He was like, Spock.
Spock.
Kirk knows how to get the best performance out of himself.
Spock.
Spock.
Please, Captain, not in front of the Klingons.
Please, Captain. Not in front of the Klingons.
Will you sit down, Spock?
It's just nice seeing those three be good friends. And you watch the J.J. Abrams one, how they all hate each other and they want to cut each other's throats.
Yeah.
They really understand Star Trek.
The trifecta saved the movie from an utter disaster. Them alone can at least elevate the movie a little bit.
That's why I think for a lot of people, they can't fully come to hate it if they like Star Trek enough because they love Kirk, Spock, and Bones bickering, hanging out, having fun. Even on the ship, I know we didn't mention that part as much, but them on a prison break, all of them together, it's still nice to see them interacting and trying to find a solution.
Yeah, I like that little part where Spock said a very highly trained Starfleet officer helped figure out how to make it inescapable. And Kirk says, he didn't happen to have long ears, did he?
This person didn't by any chance have pointed ears. And an unerring capacity for getting his shipmates into trouble, did he?
Nice little moments like that are great in this movie.
Yeah, there was a joke. I'll mention Futurama once again. There was a joke in that Futurama episode where Leonard Nimoy was talking how because I'm a good director, I was able to get a good performance out of my crew for Star Trek 4. And then William Shatner said, and yes, because I'm such a good director, I was able to get a great performance out of myself for Star Trek 5.
When I directed Star Trek 4, I got a magnificent performance out of Bill because I respected him so much.
And when I directed Star Trek 5, I got a magnificent performance out of me because I respected me so much.
At least Bill is able to make fun of himself.
Yeah, I was taking it in stride. Like I said, if you like Star Trek, you should watch those episodes. And also, the ship in Futurama, it's the Nimbus from this movie,
Yeah, that's what the planet's called, right? Nimbus 3?
Yeah. Good old classic sci-fi.
They don't make it like they used to.
I don't think they make it at all, period. Do people make good sci-fi anymore? I haven't seen anything.
Definitely not Star Trek.
I guess the one last thing was when Kirk was talking about how our pain, our experiences make us who we are, and you can't ever really get away from it. It's still a part of you, even if you try to ease some of the pain.
Nice little moment from Captain Kirk.
I want my pain. I need my pain.
I don't want my pain taken away. I need my pain.
I mean, that's who Captain Kirk is. That's something he would say. That's my captain.
I guess your captain's not Jean-Luc Picard.
No, I'm a Captain Kirk boy. They're both different, but I like Captain Kirk more.
But yeah, he's the fun adventure hero.
Yeah, and Picard is the diplomat, which there's nothing wrong with that.
Sisko is the general.
Yeah, they're all different, and that's good. There's variety.
Archer is the explorer, and Janeway's the terrorist.
Oh. Well, Craig, do you have any other final thoughts for Star Trek V, The Final Frontier?
Like we've said, I don't think it's all that bad. I know it's got some problems problems. The story's really not that great.
Mhm.
The villain's not that great.
Yes.
But our main heroes
Are good.
make up for it.
Yeah, I agree. It's not nearly as bad as people say. The strike and this movie really just had a lot of things going against it from the start, but not the worst out there. And yeah, Kirk, Spock, and Bones saved the movie from being a total disaster.
If you don't like them, then this is probably a lot worse for you.
Yeah, could you imagine they made a Dr. Pulaski and Data movie where Pulaski is just harassing and hazing Data the whole time? That's what I was thinking about during those camping scenes. Just imagine Pulaski and Data. It's pronounced Data. That is my name. The other is not.
What's the difference?
One is my name. The other is not.
This constant bullying, like every time he's trying to sleep in his little camping bag, she tried to like wake him up, throw a bucket of water. I'm like, see, this is why you're a machine.
I
This is
don't
why you're
like working
inferior."
with machines. But with all that being said, this has been the Unbiased Opinion, where everyone's opinion is biased except ours. We're going to do Star Trek 6 next week, so that'll be fun. I'm Colin,
I'm Craig.
and we will see you next time.
What does God need with a starship?